guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a little bit of a snack size ship with me. These are orders for the most part that came in between Saturday afternoon when I dropped off at the post office and Monday morning. It's Monday morning right now. So things that came in up until now, with the exception of one piece, it was still air drying as of Saturday, so it couldn't go out the door. But we've got some really cool pieces. I can't wait to show you like what I got for them, how long they've been sitting in my inventory, what I paid for them, etc. I love kind of walking you through that process. But before we jump in, if you are new here, first and foremost, welcome aboard. I am Julia, and that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet. If any of those things are something that you are interested in, be sure to hit subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, it's Monday. As per usual, I am not only running late, but I've got 85 million things to do after this. So let's get into it. Let's jump in to these shipments. So the first thing we have here, and this is the second half of a little test that I did not too long ago. This is a cute little Victoria's Secret, this is vintage from, I believe, the 90s. This is a Victoria's Secret silk nightie. I found 2 or 3 of these pieces just a couple weeks ago, and I had never picked Victoria's Secret before. And a lot of people have mentioned that they do really well with it. So I found a little, cache of great looking pieces that looked vintage. Now, what everybody is really looking for is the Victoria's Secret label that has gold stitching. They call that gold label, and that's very high in demand right now. This does not have that stitching, but I believe it is of the same era. It's just one of their silk pieces. So it's labeled as Victoria's Secret silk. Anyway, so I picked these 2 pieces up at the bins just to see, just to see how they did. And so far, we've sold through all of them pretty quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep my eyes out for more Victoria's Secret pieces, because it seems like this is kind of a hot commodity. Now, I would say if this is something you want to get into, especially if you're in a situation where you're sourcing for maybe a higher dollar amount, maybe you don't have a bins location near you, or maybe your bins location is not that great near you, or there's no, other option, I would stick to silk pieces, 100% silk, or vintage pieces. Now, I can't speak to this. I will ask anybody who does really well with like VS Sport, like the leggings and the kind of athletic wear. I've heard stories about people doing really well with that stuff. My experience has not been that. But if you do well with that stuff, put what works for you down below just to kind of help out the greater good here. But just coming from my experience, I would stick to 100% silk and vintage. So I had this listed for $39, and I wasn't sure, so I kind of made a best guess. It was 100% silk. I had it listed for $39, and somebody liked it, and my sidekick sent an offer for $34, and they accepted. So my price on this was $1, and I had it for just under a month, and that brought my profit to $24.18. Such a cute little piece. I'm excited about this. I love having like a new brand that I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes out for. Next up, I knew this was gonna go really quick. This is a beautiful little linen dress from Zara. I love picking up more substantial pieces from Zara because they do go fast. I mean, Zara in general, if I'm getting newer Zara pieces, tends to do very well for me, at least right now. It's not always been the case, but recently it very much has been the case. So this is a pretty little linen dress. It's this just very tranquil, like sage color. It's a midi length. It's got a split up the front, which I absolutely love. To be totally honest, this is something that is very much like my style. So if it was my size, it probably wouldn't have been leaving the house. Part of the joy of thrifting is, and going to the bins, is that I get first stab on everything that comes through my door. Not to be greedy, but if it's something that I love and I wear it for a couple months and I don't love it, I can always go and sell it, easy enough. So anyway, I had this in my store for only 5 days. It just goes to show, again, that kind of substantial fabric from Zara really does go. In general, the jeans and the dresses have been what is selling the quickest for me from Zara, so hopefully that helps you. If you have a different experience, by all means, let me know down below. So I had this listed for 42 bucks. Again, just kind of took a stab on it. The linen tends to go for a little bit more. Had it in my store for 5 days. My sidekick sent an offer for 38. They countered for 34, which I accepted. I had a $1 cost in the bins here, and this ended up leaving me with a profit of $27.91. Very excited for that dress. It's just so pretty. I mean, linen is such a forever fabric. Like, that is never going to be out of style. So I hope she loves it. Next up here, this is a brand to be on the lookout for sure. Now, I have a couple pieces from them that I have sold through incredibly quickly. This piece has sat for a little while. This is a little sweatshirt from NSF. Where's the label? There's a little label there. I don't know if you can see that. But NSF is a pretty high-end, like, sportswear line. It's not necessarily, like, their core competency isn't necessarily athletic wear, but this is a sweatshirt. Look at these sleeves. So cute, little cropped silhouette. It's a size medium, which is a good size to find in them. This was probably $200 to $250 new. NSF is very expensive. And this is in like new conditions. So I grabbed it. I did pay up a little bit for this. I got this at the regular Goodwill. But because it's NSF, I knew it was going to go eventually, and I knew it was going to go for a good price. And I just thought it was really different. I do love finding pieces that are like a little left of center. So this is one of those pieces, because it is technically a sweatshirt, so it has that like athletic wear vibe to it, but it is more than anything. It is loungewear, it is athleisure. I'm gonna reiterate the fact that if you have anything that is considered athleisure, that you make sure you have that word in your listings. You use those keywords because people will search for it. This is a perfect example of athleisure. So I had this for about 6 months. I had it for a long time, and I paid $4.89 for it at $4.89, I think was actually a Salvation Army. So I paid $4.89 for it, had it for 6 months. I had it listed at $48, and it popped through as a full price sale. So always excited to see one of those. With that $4.89 cost, that brought my profit to $36.22. Needless to say, I am pleased as punch with that. Next up, now this is a brand to be on the lookout for sure. This is a brand called Wilt. And Wilt, I would lump this in, maybe not quite with the James purse, but they do kind of the same thing, really high-end basics. And you'll note that so many of the things that I sold today are black. And one of my videos a few weeks ago, I wear black a lot, obviously, it's kind of my jam. One of my videos a few weeks ago, somebody had called out the fact that a black piece that I was shipping completely disappeared against my outfit. So I looked at all the things that I had sold and I'm like, everything's black. I need to not wear black today. But this is a pretty, like, slub cotton with rib trim, long sleeve t-shirt with a little bit of a like trapeze silhouette, in fantastic condition. Wilt is just, I think Wilt is sold at like Neiman Marcus. It's a t-shirt, probably went for like $150, maybe even closer to $200. It's just a very high-end brand. It's not a brand that I had heard of until I found this and felt the quality, and I was like, oh, what's this? But it just goes to show that, like, if you are sourcing in a place that's, really inexpensive, and you feel something that feels nice, and the label looks nice, and maybe you don't know it, but it feels nice, like, take a chance on it. Maybe don't drop $10 on something like that. Don't take a chance like that, but if you're getting it for $1 or $2, like, just roll the dice. What's the worst that happens? Absolute worst case scenario, you donate it right back and you're out $1 or $2. But, best case scenario is you get something like a Wilt that's, not only do we now know a new brand to keep our eyes out for, but it's sold for a great price. So I had this listed about 2 months, and I had it listed for $39. seemed to be in line with comps, and I got an offer for $30, which I accepted. So, you know, that little gamble paid out, and now I know a new brand and you know a new brand to keep your eyes out for. If anybody's ever found Wilt before, let me know. Because again, I had never heard of it until I found this shirt. So, sold it for $30. It had a $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $20.98. Great little piece there. Next up, this was another brand that I took a chance on. This is a brand called Fresh Produce. And Fresh Produce, I had seen in the bins prior. The fabric always felt really nice. And there was one day that I had found like 6 or 7 pieces in the bins of this Fresh Produce brand. And they were all in pretty great condition. So I grabbed 4 or 5 of them. You know, I grabbed 4 or 5 of my favorites. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a try. It feels really nice. And when I got home, I, you know, jumped online to take a look to see if I could learn anything about this. My initial thought was that this was a boutique brand, maybe a high-end boutique brand, because again, the fabric just felt like a dream. And when I looked it up, it turns out they are sold at some high-end boutiques. I would not call them a boutique brand. It's not something that people really buy wholesale. But they also have a standalone little boutique in Laguna Beach. And I'm sure anybody my age will remember Laguna Beach from MTV back in the day, so you know how wealthy of a town Laguna Beach is. But for those who don't know about Laguna Beach, it's a very, very, very wealthy coastal town down in Orange County. It's beautiful. And to have a standalone little boutique on their main drag, you gotta be doing something right. So, you know, I was excited to pick it up, and this is, I think I have 1 piece of that little cache left. Everything else is sold through. Some of it sold incredibly quickly. And I've since even picked up a piece or 2 for my mom because I just think that she would really like this. This feels very much in her vein. So I had this for $29. I had it for about 2 months. Again, this was the second to last piece that I had for sale. Got an offer for $22. I had gone back and forth with the buyer a few times. So I accepted her offer of $22. It's a cute little dress with pockets. Happy to accept it. My cost on this was $1, and that brought my profit to $17. And again, like I know I found a couple of these pieces here. I've found a few more pieces recently, but they haven't been in the best shape. But when I find more pieces like this, I will be for sure picking them up. I don't know how much you're gonna see that outside of California. It seems like a pretty local brand, but if you found it in your neck of the country, let me know. Let me know down below. I'm always interested to see like what people are finding in their bins. I always love when I travel to go to other bins or other thrift stores to see what is available in that region, because it is usually very different from what I see here. It's very different from what I used to see in the Philly area, and that's just fascinating to me. Next up, these are one of my favorite things to find, and I've had this for a surprisingly long time, but I have a sneaking suspicion I know why. This is an Athleta dress, and I've never had an Athleta dress sit for this long, but this skirt, and this is called I think it's called the Barcelona cinch, the something cinch dress, and this skirt is actually like bodycon. So when it sits on the body, it is bodycon. So it's a little bit of a blousey top with a cinched in waist and then kind of a bodycon skirt. So it's a little bit dressier than the standard Athleta dress. Any other Athleta dress I've had has, you know, moved within a week. This one sat for quite a while, I think about 5 or 6 months, but either way, it's a great dress, and this is in like new condition. I mean, I'm looking at this, I would be surprised. I could probably pretty comfortably put this as brand new without tags. It is an extra large, and it's black, it's double layer, it's super, super nice. But either way, I would still pick this up all day because I know it will go, and I know it will go for a good price. So I paid $1 for this at the bins, which, you know, of course, always excited to find. And I had it for 5 or 6 months. Anyway, I had this listed for $48. It's It's around what I start my Athleta dresses on. Some I start a little higher, some I start a little bit lower, but that's about average. Again, had it for about 5 or 6 months. It popped through as a full price sale. And with a $1 cost from the bins, my profit was $37.40. Next up here is this adorable little dress. It's a little linen girls dress from Lilly Pulitzer. And when I grabbed it, I was so excited. I love the colors, I love the shape. It's such a classic Lilly look. And I didn't notice until I got it home and I looked that it was Lilly Pulitzer for Target. Now, typically, I don't pick up a lot of those collab pieces. They don't necessarily go for too much, but I still probably would have picked this one up. That collab sold out super quick, and those pieces are still really sought after. And I gotta say, you know, some of the collabs that they've done, me and my sister-in-law were just talking about this not too long ago. Some of the collabs that they've done, the quality really hasn't been there. You know, it doesn't match the quality of the inline pieces, which, like, I would never expect it to, because it is a collab with a much cheaper brand. Like a Lilly Pulitzer dress, this probably sold, for knowing Target's price is like $26 retail. And you know, if this was actually Lilly Pulitzer, that would have been like $150. My sister-in-law was talking in particular about the Stony Clover collab that they did. Apparently those pieces were almost identical quality with the pieces that you get directly from Stony Clover. Anyway, Lilly Pulitzer, this collab was absolutely one that really, I mean, I wouldn't have batted an eye if you told me that that was an inline. I thought it was an inline Lilly Pulitzer piece. So super pleased with it, and it sold crazy quick. You know, again, I got it at the bins for $1. So, you know, even if it sold at like Target resale prices, I wouldn't have been mad. But you know, this is probably similar, maybe a little bit low to what I would have been asking for you know, a real Lilly piece, but you know, still sold pretty quick. I had it listed for $35, and I had it for about a month. It is a summer piece, you know, Lilly Pulitzer is so summer. So not surprised that it didn't move immediately, but I had it listed for $35 and I got an offer for $25, which I did. With the $1 cost from the bins, that brought my profit to $19 even. Super happy about that, and that is such a cute little dress. So definitely, if you are getting things at the right price, you know, make your judgment call on these collab pieces. Like, you should be able to feel the difference. Like, for example, the Missoni collab, I don't think was anywhere near the quality of like an inline Missoni piece. Now granted, you're talking about a bigger price discrepancy than the difference between Target and Lilly Pulitzer, but still, like, that felt like Target quality. This felt like Lilly quality. This was really nice and super cute. And finally here, this was a piece that I've had for a little bit of a while, but I grabbed them because I knew that they were something special. I felt them first and I'm like, oh, this fabric is really nice. Saw that they were Nike, but then I saw the tag. It said, I don't know if you can see this, it says Nike Agassi, as in Andre Agassi. I also knew just by silhouette, just a heads up, this is very much a 90s silhouette, this kind of oversized long length. Today's shorts, you're gonna see them probably about this long. So I knew immediately that these were vintage from the 90s. And anything vintage, co-branded, and Nike in great shape is worth picking up as long as the price is right. So I grabbed these, and I got these at a bins location, not the one that I usually go to, one of the other ones here in the area that is pay by weight. I want to say I paid, this ended up being probably about $2 worth of poundage there. But I just I sat on them. I knew that the right person was going to come through and buy them. You know, tennis style is so hot right now. It'll probably be a little bit more hot when it's a little bit more hot out. But for now, I was happy to grab those. That was a risk I was definitely willing to take. Again, anything co-branded Nike that's vintage, I'm in. So I had these for about 6 months. Again, found them kind of at the end of last summer. And I had them listed for $36. Really took a shot in the dark with that pricing, but I did a lot of research and saw some other, you know, vintage Nike pieces. And they kind of sat around that price. And to be totally honest, I thought these would go through Grailed. Grailed, if you are not familiar, Grailed is really good for like, you know, vintage sportswear, anything streetwear related. And that's kind of where I sell those pieces. And this just felt like something that would have gone through Grailed. Anyway, I had this listed for $36. The cost was about $2. I had them for 6 months. And they came through as a full price sale. Happy to get that. So that brought my profit to $26.80. I'm super excited to be getting these rehomed. I mean, they're a cool piece. And I mean, somebody who plays tennis, this is going to be hopefully a cool flex for them. So that is it, guys. I have got to bag these all up, get them over to the post office, and then get the rest of my day underway. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally got my work done. It is so nice to like have somebody to talk to while I do this. But if you had fun, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That really helps me out with YouTube. But without further ado, guys, have the most amazing week. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.